This could be huge. Manages to find them.
Well, Wildcard, they get the win on the board, a much needed one at that. And that really has kickstarted our games for the day. 7-5 victory over Rafflecopter. Dev, final thoughts on the game that just was?
Wildcard's back, that's all I gotta say. I've been singing Raffle's praises all season, and they've definitely been one of the teams I've been most excited about, but I can't take anything away from Wildcard that game. You know, you heard it from the horse's mouth there with Vinny. It was a fantastic match.
You just called Vinny a horse? Vinny,
yes.
I have nothing to do with that, okay?
He's a stallion, bro.
Yeah, he
is a stallion.
He is an absolute. He 100% is a stallion. I'll give you that. You've saved your pride there. However, let's move that out of the way because we have the Battle of the Titans. It is Order coming up against the Knights. It's the big one for me today. It's realistically the top of the region clash at the moment. And this matchup in particular has some very rich history, Dev.
Absolutely. There's a massive rivalry between Order and the Knights. Then, you know, for what we know, there's maybe a little bit of salt in there as well. I'm not sure. These teams have been going at each other, fighting all season for that second spot. Last season, all through 2020, it was one team gets it and then the other gets on top. This is Order, formerly known as Akami. These guys have always been the bridesmaid of the Oceanic region, whether it was back in the Corvidae days, the Dark-Sided days, the Mind Freak days. These guys played and were second to Fnatic, second to the Wildcard guys, and now, you know, they still haven't secured themselves as that #1 team, and it's well within their reach, Rob. They just need to take it.
They certainly do. Very quickly before we move on, Nico looks like a French villain. That's all I'm going to say. We'll go on to the villains of this story if you're an Order fan. The Knights. They have looked incredibly strong in APAC South. And finally, Dev, finally we saw them bring that form across to OCN last night in a 7-2 belter. And now I have absolutely no doubt they're looking to back that up.
Absolutely. These guys are undefeated in APAC South so far, but they were they were exclusively defeated in OCN in their first 2 days against Elevate and Ruffle. Finally, they had that belter against LFO 7-2, completely wiped the floor with them, and we talked to Dido in the post-match interview, and he was pretty confident. It was cut and dried. He's like, look, we're coming for that crown. We're ready to take it. Wildcard's weakened. We know we're the best in OS. Time to show it.
Yep.
And what a better time to do it than right now against Order.
It is honestly the best place for them to be coming into this matchup. They have shown, they took the Rec Diamond Gauntlet. They've then started off with incredible form in APAC South. Now we're seeing them back it up in OCN. If I'm Order right now, I'm a little bit scared of what this roster is capable of. This is like the wild card of last year. At this point now, I'm going to say that because Wildcard won every single event in 2020 minus the Pro League at the very start of the year. So that really gives you a holistic picture at what we're looking at here. Knights could well see the similar trend, but this is where, for me, in OCN, they have to kickstart it now. This is the game that they need to show that they are the best, because next week, they're up against Wildcard, Dev.
Yeah, for sure. Realistically, Knights need to not really drop any more points from here on out to be 100% confident in that #1 spot. And today is going to be a massive challenge against Order. Already losing to Elevate is a big deal because Elevate are sitting at the top of the standings. Also losing to Rafflecopter. They got 1 point out of that game, but still not enough. Knights need to show us that they can, you know, walk the talk. And today against Order is the ultimate test of that. I think Order, Wildcard, and Elevate are probably the three teams aside from Knights that I'd be looking at. And Knights better get to work if they can take that #1 spot.
They certainly will, and let's get to work on the map, Vito. Let's have a look where we're going to be heading for tonight's matchup, tonight's Battle of the Titans. We're going to Villa. I haven't seen Villa in some time. I feel like Villa and Coastline have been neglected, to say the very least, in OCN. But now it's time to head there, Dev. What are we thinking? Who are we favouring?
It's a tough one. This used to be quite a happy map for Order. They used to like picking it a lot, but they didn't have the greatest record on it. They did lose it to LFO in the OCN playoffs last season, and that was the last time we saw it from them, so it has been quite a while. That was way back in October. And for Knights, last time we saw it was a loss to Wildcard in the OS Grand Final back in January. So not the greatest, most recent results. It's actually a super heavily banned map from Knights, so perhaps Order, giving Knights the option of the last map between Consulate and Villa. Maybe Order was thinking it would be Consulate, but Knights have decided to take out Villa. It's a map that we haven't seen these teams play for quite some time, and it's definitely anyone's game.
A fresh new look as we kickstart our second game of the day. And this is the most anticipated game of the day. Order taking on Knights. It's the clash of the Titans. Everything on the line here. And we're hoping that Knights can back up their performance from last night and continue this good form that we've seen them in 2021.
That's it, these two teams fighting out for that #1 spot. Big ban there from Order, counter-banning Sage and Dino on Knights, who do love that Yana. The team uses it really well for information gathering. Order also quite enjoy that as well. Speka loves playing his Yana, but I think that's a smart move from Order to try and take away some of that info gathering from the Knights, as well as some of the explosives, because Yana, you've got the 2 frags plus the Gon 6, so you actually have the same number of explosives as Ash. And that is going to shake up the info gathering a bit. We might see some Jackal. We sometimes see Dokkaebi as well from the Order guys, but I wonder what Knights are going to bring as a substitute.
Questions to be asked, answers to be given. And now we get into it. Face value here, I'm definitely in the Knights camp. Order have struggled, really struggled in 2021, considering all the expectations they've come into it, and obviously just recently picking up that big org to represent. We are going to head to AVG to kick things off here.
Well, we've talked a lot about Knights. There's a big redemption moment incoming for Order. 2 playdays in a row, they have lost, been pushed to overtime by both Rhythm and Bliss. Not 2 teams you would expect to be in the contest for that top 4. And Order let it slip to both of them, walking away with just a single point for each of those games. As a result, Order is definitely not where they want to be right now. The only victory they've had this season over Wildcard. While they have had some good games in APAC South, a close match against the Giants notably, it just has not been everything Order is after, especially considering, as you said, they now have extra pressure. They've got to deliver on the promises they've made to Order, the organization, the largest Australian organization that we have represented here in OCN. And I think a big victory here against Knights would be everything that Dr. ordered.
Certainly would be, and it looks like the community are with them. The Snap Fitness community vote has Knights at 72%. This is a more demanding result than the previous match of Wildcard and Rafflecopter, so people definitely a little bit weary with Order's current form. What has happened there? That is such an early pick. Nate, where have you fallen down? Are you going for a cheeky little spawn peek? What?
Just living the Itby style vibe right there. Itby style, of course, has been subbed out for tonight's game. Order grabbing Nate instead, who is the sub. Itby style taking a sit on the bench. Had a really tough game, Itby did, just the other day against... oh,
what?
My God, Cutie caught between a rock and a hard place. Can he get out safely? Barely a lick of HP to his name. And that is a beautiful, beautiful start from the Knights, but Itby does fight back. Sorry, Itby's in. It's Speka who's out.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah. Speka, the big boy himself. Obviously, a pivotal player for Order. And hopefully my voice won't break too many more times in this matchup. But Moving forward for Knights now on this north to south clear. Dino looks like he'll be one of the first to take the contact and landing here. Order's still somewhat split, and I'm just gonna assume it's Itby style that's down on the first floor. They are making really good time here, the Knights, as they do start to bunker in and turtle in a little harder.
Great use of the Yokai there, and that's a C4 from Itby style. The information fed perfectly from Jack Itby, pre-placing that C4 earlier in the round, and that is a massive slap in the face for the Knights. Order, after a rocky start, Itby has found 3 kills to bring his team back into it. Knights desperately reeling. It's all on Juicy now. Sage finished off, and Itby looking for a 4th. Juicy gets it, but loses his life to the gas, through the wall. Joker locks out round number 1 for Order.
No way. Order and C4 kills. Name a more iconic duo. That is ridiculous. It did not look like Order had a hope of bringing that one back in a 3 versus 4. Knights were closing around the site, but standing strong when they needed to as well. Just look at the timing on that is gorgeous. And of course, we got that 3rd-person perspective from the wonderful Observer Marshall. And that could not have been more picturesque for Order at all.
We've seen some pretty amazing C4 plays from Order this season. I feel like you could make a montage just of Order's C4 kills. It was Cutie in the opening game of the season against Wildcard that went nuclear. 5 kills with 2 C4s in 2 rounds. And Order have certainly started this game with just as much passion and determination. I love this from Jack. The Frost pick. Bit of a vertical roam beneath the bomb site as well. Looking out for drones, I think, is Jack. And he's actually going to put a cheeky little frost mat here and bikes. Knights need to make sure that their drone game is on point. Especially considering they don't have the Yana. Order banned it out. Substituting with the Jackal instead.
All right. I'm not even, I'm kind of in a small way speechless from Order in that previous round. It's just things you need to be cautious of. It's just Order things, you know? And it's certainly a beautiful way for us to kickstart this matchup here. You'll see how slow and how methodical Knights are. I wouldn't say they emulate the kind of play style that we've seen from Wildcard for so many years now, but it is quite similar. Definitely in that early part, in that stage 1, stage 2 of the rounds, they are quite slow in making this work. Look at this right now, 3 players underneath Aviator and Games, and Dino needs to be really careful here. Oh, surely that has to be the big C4.
He still has his C4 in the pocket. Does have to be careful of Hayward, though, with the IQ scanner. Could see him. At the moment, Hayward, though, with the G8. It looks like most of those Order players retreat back. Still a lot of opportunities for C4 in the late round. Dino placing a drone to cover that east, rather that red stairs flank. Now droning up the site. Fortunately, Dino's on hard floor, so Nate can't get a C4, but Cutie the first one to fall as Juicy starts to put some pressure on this master side.
Oh, nicely done from Jack Daddy. Nate a little bit delayed there, a little bit slow to react. Needs to be cautious of Josh underneath on the Jackal. But once again, Order, they hit back, and they hit back pretty damn hard. So Knights just need to tread with caution as they make their way toward this site now, opening up that deep line from Bedroom all the way through to Stat and Trophy. Another big kill as Hayward goes down. It's not looking all that great for Knights. What a shot from Juicy, though.
Exactly what they need. Sage as well, finding a strong entry. Nate has to flank up. Joker on the Astro stairs. Both Order players nowhere to be seen. Juicy spots the cross. Surely Josh can support here from the heads window. The wall bang doesn't take him down. Juicy starting to force this plant. There's plenty of time left. But Nate is in this perfect position. Spotted once again. Solo HP. And finished off a triple for Juicy. All on Joker.
Oh, needs to hit that shot. He will not be given a second chance with the spray that is that SMG-11. It is unforgiving to say the very least. That was mighty close. But on the back of that, I think that, you know, we give props to Knights. Once again, it's always that staged, the phase 2 of the round where they seem to perform the best, where they really kickstart with the info that they've been given. And obviously Dino falling out there means we're going to come back to cams and you're going to get to see, I wouldn't say gorgeous faces by any means, but you get to see faces that are in front of cameras. So,
you know what, Rob?
What?
I actually, during the break, I switched over my t-shirts. I'm wearing the Livin' one now.
You did too.
So, I think I actually ordered, no, I didn't order that one. I ordered this one and the big, bright royal blue one. I'm still waiting for that one in the mail, but yeah. Sorry to distract from the game. I was just so excited because this thing's so comfy.
It's gorgeous. It's great merch. Honest to God, one of the best sponsors. Look at them. Gorgeous little logo as well to go with it. And again, a great message. We won't bat on that too much right now because we are in the middle of the matchup. And Order, I mean, I would actually have picked them to take that second round there, but it's just Night Tings, you know? If Order show us Order Tings in round 1, that's just Night Tings, you know?
That's one way to analyze it, Rob. But yeah, for sure. Order had a nice kind of idea with the start there, but Knights had really good control from their study roam clear across. There wasn't really a lot of contest on the second floor, but yeah, we did see eventually Order start to fight back. I think they found that, well, not quite the opening pick, but they did find a good retort. And then it was just on Knights, really good master control, and then opening up those long lines of sight from the master wall, and Juicy actually found a 3K from that position and pushing on forward in with the ace. Really good stuff from the Knights, and it goes to show, right, because you've got... Villa is a big map, right? You've got some people coming from one side taking map control to put pressure, and you've got other guys hitting the site direct from the master balcony. And being able to work on those two objectives independently for Knights, I think, is a testament to their coordination and their ability to work together in kind of like a 5-player game, right? Which is a relatively small squad in itself. But if you can divide that even further into 2 people taking one thing and all communicating around one specific thing, and then 3 people pushing another side and communicating on one specific thing, that is a serious challenge, trying to have multiple different kinds of communication happening at once. And that's something I've seen Knights really, really good at. Yeah,
and that round in particular is obviously a very easy kind of point to put the magnifying glass over and have a look at how that kind of breaks down. Again, it also leans into being able to do that from bedroom window and not being in too much danger apart from a swing from stat or something like that. It does take a little bit more. So it is certainly a point that I brought up in the first round, and it's one that I will forever bat on, which is when oceanic teams get a little slower, get a little more methodical, they can be really dangerous in their approach to the sides. You see it with Wildcard, you see it with Knights, and Order on the flip side of the coin. By no means are they not methodical, but they really are quite dangerous in how they play. The big one for me is always when they have a player missing, whether it be Ippy or whether it be Specca, something like that. It is a pretty big kind of hole to fill in a roster like that, especially when we know how much confidence they exert, if you will. But it is a talking point that we always bring up, just that different side to Order that we don't necessarily see on a lot of other teams.
Yeah, it's true. Not having Specca today could change things a little bit. Hard to read in. It's not like you can point to individual performance at this point. Like Nate did die first in the first round, but I wouldn't read too much into it. if I am to get a little bit nerdy about that round just passed, I think the thing that really fell apart for Order was the fact that that master wall got breached, right? From the ace, as you said, safely on the balcony. And now I'm looking back at my notes. I'm realizing Cutie was the Melusi player. He was the first one to die. He might have had impacts, and his job might have been to defend that wall by impact tricking the ace Selmas. And of course, with him being the first to fall, there was no wall denial operator on the Order side, no like mute jam. Oh wait, sorry, there was a mute. So I guess Knights must have cleared the mute jammer off somehow, or various ways they could have done that. But yeah, as soon as that wall is unprotected, I think that was a bit of an exposed position for Order, and Knights took advantage. Whether or not losing Spectre today is having a massive impact, it's so hard to say, because Spectre has been a hit and miss player this season.
Yeah, and Spectre can have that influence in a game, but can also kind of, like you're saying, just go missing a little bit more. You know, we've got the milk cartons with his face on it, but that's fine. You know, that's okay. We'll see what it kind of eventuates to in the future. But ladies and gents, this is going to be a little bit of a break here. We do need to allow Dino to get back in. It sounds like his PC has crashed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be back with the matchup in just a jiffy.
Follow me under when I'm crumbling. Every night I wonder, will it ever end? Sometimes I can barely breathe, dear. Sometimes I don't wanna be here. Sometimes I don't wanna be here.
This could be huge. Manages to find them.
Alrighty, we're back into it, guys. Nice little break in the mid-game. And now we're back into it. Dino, unfortunately, his PC carked it. And if it's anything like mine, if it had wings, it'd probably take off like a jet. So I feel your pain. I feel your pain. But right now... Oh, you're kidding me.
Nate!
You are kidding me.
Nate,
You are
you cheeky.
absolutely kidding me.
You cheeky little one. What's he doing
What?
over there?
Oh.
Order just got a bit jealous. Oi, Knights had to have a tech pause to get Dino to, you know, go and tell the hamster to keep on cycling through that wheel, and Nate just decided to jump in it as well. Lucky us.
Well, looks like we've got 2 planes flying around tonight. My goodness. How about the timing on that one, Dev?
Yeah.
The
perfect.
game's not even deep enough for us to sit there and talk about it. You know, we've seen 2 rounds. I mean, Knights, methodical, incredible.
Yep.
Order C4.
Yep.
I think we just changed Order's new name to C4.
C4.
C4. C4. It's not Order Up. It's not Order Up anymore.
C4 up.
It's C4. C4 up as well. Oh, goodness me. Well, I guess we go full podcast mode here, Dev, and we
down.
have a look as I think what we do, you know what? Let's have a look at the season overall right now.
Yep.
Instead of just sitting here and waffling and trying to maintain some kind of presence for the viewers, which would probably be interesting to say at the very least. Let's just have a look at where we're all sitting in the standings. So since Wildcard have taken that win, obviously it's just the first game of the night, they have jumped up to second place, above Blitz and underneath Elevate. So maybe toward the end of tonight, we may see a completely different scoreline. But no matter what happens here, Order are 1 point in front of Knights. So realistically, if Order can just make sure that they take this game to overtime, they will keep Knights neck and neck.
Yeah.
So for like in my personal opinion, I know Order and Knights go back and forth, you know, in their matches. I think maybe you can talk to that in a second, but especially in this one, win, lose, draw, they have to make sure that overtime is, you know, the essential key factor here. They need those overtime points to make sure that Knights don't just propel above them.
Yeah, for sure. And look, if Order do take the full 3 points here, then they would be in a very, very strong position. They would actually take the leap all the way up to be on par with Elevate on 8 points. Now, keep in mind, this standings hasn't been updated since Wildcard got that extra 3 points earlier, so
Yep.
they're up there as well. In fact, according to the stats I have, they're already on 5 points. Maybe I'm tripping or something. But basically, what this means with Order and Knights pretty neck and neck there is, yeah, no matter what happens, Order should still be on top unless if Knights take this before going to OT.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely, I mean, Knights, we talked about how confident they are, right? They dealt with Ruffle nice and easy. They dealt with Q-Confirm in the Apex South League, and they said that 7-2 was barely satisfactory by their standards against Q-Confirm. So I have no doubts that Knights are hoping and expecting to take this in the 7-4, 7-5 against Order. But I would probably say the same from Order's POV as well. Like, of course, these teams, they've got to have confidence in themselves. And, you know, it's Becker himself that says confidence is 90% of Siege. And they're definitely going to back themselves going into this game. I feel like Order, they're at a point where 2 games in a row in OCN, they've let it slip in overtime. And
Yeah.
it was to, Rhythm and Bliss, not teams that you would be satisfied losing to. And so Order definitely, this is where they need to buck that trend, and taking a win over Knights would be a massive boon to their confidence. Copying the L would be probably almost the first foot in the grave for Order.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. You know, Team Bliss and Rhythm, regardless of what the actual standings look like right now, we all came into this expecting them to be around the bottom 3, bottom 4 mark, right, on the lower end of the ladder. And they are teams that have taken it to Order, which is just terrible. You know, you were just talking about overtime wins for them. And you know, there's 2 points on the line that Order have lost there. They would be currently sitting second had they been able to convert those overtime wins, which you would expect a team of that stature to be able to do. But we can draw our eyes to the bottom there for a second and talk about LFO.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like this is just something that we've seen from LFO for such a long time now. You know, they always have really close matches. They always have really good performances. They seem to push teams to their limits. But, I mean, you look here, 5-7 against Bliss, and then, well, again, a 5-7 against Wildcard. And although you wouldn't particularly pick them to take that game against Wildcard, you'd still expect them to force that to OT to get those points, because OT points are essential. You can see teams there floating just because they've got it. Now, let's hone in on the game. Fingers crossed, there are no more bloody DCs.
Sure hope not. Nate there, 6-picking onto the Goyo from Pulse. We are heading back to the stat and trophy defense site, if I'm not wrong. There you go. Jack Daddy's sticking that for us. I quite like it. Now, they're not going for so much a hard closet hold that like we used to see in the past, but it is a bit of a soft hold. As for the Knight side of things, I'm always curious about that Yana ban from Order and how that's going to affect these guys on the attack. For Knights, I have seen them bring the Jackal before, but I can't help but think that it's either the Jackal or the Ashe that is the substitute in there for the Yana. The Ashe bringing the same number of explosives as the Yana. Oh, beautiful drone spot here from Hayward. All the info he could possibly want. It's really going to enable this early control, I think, of the south side of the map.
It's one side of the game that we don't really get to see a lot of, right? Is how effective your drone placement in the early stages of the game, in that prep phase, how much that enables you to kind of play off it and whether teams do decide to lean into it. So last time we saw Knights attack this site, is it Statra? Okay, so it's on the other side. I thought it was actually AVG for a second there. My apologies. But the whole point is we saw them clear from south to north, and then likewise on the inside
the
there.
Whole point, is it, Rob?
Dino's not wasting any time. My God, rightio.
Rob's dying or something.
That's some really early contact
take you
here.
guys
Knights
by
are making
the
death.
hand and help you out here. Dino's going all the way in. My God. Straight there into Astro. Finds his first pick. That's Jack Daddy on the floor. Cootie jumps downstairs. Forfeiting the objective. Looking for perhaps a C4 play. Dino has Deer squarely in his control. Now it's on Order to retake. Not working out so well for them. Joker and Cutie downstairs. It'd style on for this flank. Plant going down. Cutie downstairs. No C4 in hands. And things are getting suddenly shut down as this retake starts to set up. Joker looking to force his way up the stairs. Style has the perfect position. Looking the wrong way is Juicy at B for 2. That's the triple. And now it is all on Hayward. He has to hold on. He has to counter defuse here, as he's got 3 players to find. That defuse getting hit. Style caught off guard. That's Joker gone down. Cutie and Style in the 1v1. A 4K on the round, and the clutch gets Order their second round.
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser. Defenders win.
A massive play from Order to keep themselves in it after a great rush. Dino finding that opening pick, and it was not enough. Order for that retake was just impeccable. Piece by piece, bringing it back. A 4K from Style, including the 1v1 to clutch at the end, was perfect. And Style showing no signs of slowing down.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser. Attackers need to protect them.
It's been a close game so far. Both of these teams looking to bring the full force. Both of them loading up and firing on all cylinders as Order now take that lead for the first time. Moving into round 4, Aviator a return. unlocked once again. The last time we saw this taken was a good opening for Knights, but that massive C4 from itBestyle enabled by the Echo drones of Jack Daddy was just so much. It completely smacked Knights out of this game. And at that point, it really was all she wrote. Now as Order look to retake this site, for now, the operator lineup has made a somewhat of a pivot. Jack Daddy mainly going on to the Wamai instead. Now, Dino just having a good old chat with our lovely observer Marshall as we hope to get Sage back into the game. Bit of banter in the chat as well. These guys just trying to keep things lively here. And we'll be back in just a moment. Order versus Knights is starting to heat up. Don't go anywhere.
Thinking everybody, even use an enemy. Brutally awakened, quite undertaken, did not do nothing wrong. Life isn't easy, why did you leave me here to get drunk alone? And I don't wanna wake up messed up, cause I can't spend another day like this. I'm not the type of caked up breakup where I've been finding any way to my fix. But I know I need you now, cause I don't wanna be around. No, I don't wanna wake up messed up. There's gotta be another way past this. If I am so wrong and so gone, miserable, won't you stick around just for some be visible? But you don't, no you don't care. Leave me to suffer, erase all the doubt. Pouring Jack in my mouth, in a love with enough of the pain and the drugs to be present for now. All I'm right now, I don't wanna wake up messed up, cause I can't spend another day like this. Another type of caked up breakup where I've been finding any way to my fix. But I know I need you now, cause I don't wanna be around. No, I don't wanna wake up messed up. There's gotta be another way past this. Look above your head at the moonlit sky. The stardust drips and shines brightly in your eye. So baby, stay with me where the sun doesn't go down, and we will drift away until the day the world stops spinning. Oh, baby. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah. The stars falls around us, entwining us. So baby, stay with me where the sun doesn't go down, and we will drift away until the day the world stops spinning, 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 until the day the world stops spinning.
I fell apart when I saw you look at me that way. It broke my heart to see. It was a moment of darkness, a moment in time that I regret for being so heartless. It was a moment of, a moment of, a moment of darkness. Moment of darkness. I fell apart when I saw you look at me that way. It broke my heart to see. It's too hard, it don't come easy. I went dark, I lost it right away. And when it starts, God knows what I'll say. In my head, I had good reason. I went red so unexpectedly. I should have said that sometimes happens to me. It was a moment of darkness, a moment in time that I regret for being so heartless. It was a moment of, a moment of, a moment of darkness.
This could be huge. Manages to find them.
Manic to Dev. Manic to Dev. Dev, can you hear me? Are you out there?
This is Dev here. Manic, I can hear you loud and clear. We are back, baby. OCN will not be stopped. Doesn't matter what they throw at us. We're going to get the smoke signals out if our VoIP software ain't working. We are back for Order versus Knights. It seems they just take this as another challenge. Let's get going, Rob.
Let's get straight back into it. An ancient rivalry is only matched with an ancient form of communication that I don't even think today's generation would know. It's called Skype. I don't know if the younger fan from the R6 scene would know what this is, but this is how we all used to communicate back in the day. So let's wait and see whether...
Back before the internet, before technology, before power, before fire was first discovered by the cavemen, they used Skype.
It was like banging two rocks together and hoping that they could hear each other. It was like Morse code, but without the internet.
Like two tin cans with a piece of string between them, running from one side of Melbourne to the other to connect us for this auspicious match.
That is one long piece of string right now, Cutie. This is where he got caught in the first round, and it looks like he's going to go for something quite similar here. Jack Daddy peeking around the corner, but so far, no contact to be made. And the Knights with only a minute gone off the clock. Okay, something's happened to Jack Daddy. That's all I know. Bit of HP gone, but nothing to worry about just yet.
Captain on the C4 there for Cutie. Jack Daddy on the Bandit, no less. Good to bring some wall denial. Also great fragging operator with the C4 in tow. A lot of a roam downstairs, all the way in the basement, but Knights do have that Jackal to perhaps help, but minute 30 and they really haven't made a lot of progress.
Attackers have located a bomb.
No. In the previous round, in this similar attack, they were much more advanced, pretty much already at landing, taking contact, and they'd also found two picks. So a polar opposite look as we head back to AVG. And where is Dino right now? Is Dino still up? Oh, I thought Dino had actually pushed past landing. That's my apologies there.
A bomb has been located.
Somewhat still on track though, Dev. Nothing to stress about just yet.
But as we see the timer tick down, in a 5v5, I'd favor the defenders here. Knights have made some good map control, but progress is only progress if you can convert it. Order on for this flank as well. There's the lead-off kill. It be Style. He has been the man of the hour for Order tonight after a cold match just last night. He's back into it, but shut down for now. Puts Knights back in the driver's seat. 30 seconds in a 5v4, but still no control, ready for this execute.
Oh, Cutie. That's what we needed to see. The taste of their own medicine. What? Hello, Dino. What? What has just... Okay, what is going on right now? Pandemonium on site. Opening lines. 10 seconds less than that. Jack Daddy's trying to come back in with an unbelievable shot now, taking the fight to long. It's a 2v3, but this should be confirmed. It's Hayward down. And done and dusted. Order. They retake perfectly.
A fantastic retake. And players lurking downstairs, but Order get it done. Some nice shots from each of them. And of course, Jack Daddy is lying on the floor, the little rat he is. Get off it!
Just Jack Daddy things, right?
That's it.
You can't even be mad at that beautiful face.
No, never.
You cannot be mad at a jaw that could cut through steel.
Jack is honestly such a lovely guy. Got to hang out with him recently after the wrecked Omen Gauntlet. Down at GG Easy. Oof. Had a grand old time. You know, Jack, here, you know the Stonks meme? We need a version of the Stonks meme with Jack's face on it. Man has made bank on the crypto. He's, not only is he pretty sharp inside the server, but he's got a noggin just absolutely full of ideas and the big stonk investments.
Yeah.
And right here in the server, they're paying dividends.
That was a good one. I'll give you that. that was a really nice little bow on the end of that one. So, Into the kitchen we go for Order now. They're currently, I would say they're set up pretty well to take this. Knights in the last 2 rounds have kind of looked, well, I didn't get to see the round prior because, you know, Melbourne Tings, but
10 seconds remaining.
I definitely did not expect Knights to just have to full send that in the previous round. Nate was just sitting behind the couch, so there is every chance right now
Bomb and defuse.
the Order could walk away with the demanding first half lead, 4-2, even, dare I say it, 5-1. But Knights, you know that this is not a team that will let the mentality get to them. So if Order are going to do it, they're going to have to do it the clean way.
Kitchen dining for the first time here, Knights. Their attack for now looking very similar to what we saw on their stat trophy attacks. Clearing across from Study. Info denial, though, from the Mozzie and Mute's going to make this a bit slower. Got to have some good entries paired up here. Player at Skull. Nate pushing backwards. Dino doesn't have a drone directly in front of him, so a bit of old information he's operating on at the moment. And Joker finds that opening. Juicy's had a great impact so far, and he is that only hard breach. It'd style as well. On the QE dance, almost a nice shot there from Dino. Josh does cut off Itby, the hammer to the anvil. And 150 4v4.
Sage still sticking to his guns here. Hayward on completely the other side of the map. Right now, there's only one defender that's facing, oh, sorry, no, 2, in fact. Facing up top there, Hayward trying to poke and prod a little bit more. As now Cutie has come back down and joined them. The whole squad, in fact. I love this from Order. They've bought a lot of time to work with now. A minute off the clock, or of the clock left.
Attack.
And Knights are going to have to get a wriggle on.
Next phase in the round is getting that vertical game, but as you said, time ticking away. And this phase in the round, when it comes to this vertical from the attack, like once you have top floor control, you need to really get to work quickly because those defenders, this point in the round, they can start to move around a bit. They don't have to be in those predictable endgame positions. And they can also fight back, but Joker can't land a second kill this round. Dino finds it, 40 seconds left. This is starting to look better for the Knights. Hayward dropping into Laundry. Get that diffused, but no hard breach. Thanks to Juicy going down means that this is going to be a bit scrappy for the Knights.
Order's positioning. They're starting to come together a little bit more now, but Sage catching Nate off. That's not what you need in this position. Jack Daddy has to hold strong here and hope that his teammates can help, but
perfect.
no, they can't. Jack Daddy absolutely swarmed on. And an excellent round from the Knights makes it 3-2.
Oh, we were talking about that kind of vertical play phase in the round where the attackers are really trying to just find picks and start to weaken the site before they execute. That was done to perfection from the Knights. Not only did they have those players above opening and utilizing those vertical angles, but still players getting ready for that execute. And also Josh roaming downstairs, or rather lurking downstairs, starting to put a little bit of lateral pressure. And when you've got that vertical pressure and the lateral pressure at the same time, you really start to stack up and find these picks. Went from a 4v4 to a 4v1. And that's just about as good as it gets.
And it's something that from the Knights we see all too often.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
This is, it's so funny watching, you know, the Knights play now and how eerily close they seem to mirror what Wildcard used to do pre-2021. And it's just take their sweet time, establish dominance in the round, put their foot in the door and shove it open. So it's definitely one thing that I love to keep my eye on. It's just how this team continues to progress throughout 2021. And there's so many questions to be answered. You know, are they going to establish themselves as the best team in the region? We already say that they are there, but their OCN form says otherwise. And as we saw from Wildcard last year, there's no room for one or the other. You know, if you're the best team, you are undoubtedly the best team.
Yeah, that's it. For Knights, there were a lot of questions at the start of this season when they did so well in APAC South and so poorly in OCN. We're thinking like, come on guys, are you really giving OCN your all? And if not, like that is just a terrible attitude to have. And you can't do that. And then we start to see Knights warm up and start playing a bit better. Oh, almost a flick there for Dino. Very early push here from Knights. Straight to side. Cutie with the double at C4, kill number 210 for Order this season. It seems like a nice early push, but completely thwarted at least. It seems like it.
Just dunking on them consistently. It's the big Shaq throwdown every single time you see Cutie with her C4 in the hand. You get excited. Hippie Style opened it up earlier in round number 1, I think it was. And now Knights, they have information on site, which is going to be pivotal when push comes to shove. And Juicy's going to play off that information as well. We can see they're playing on quite a tight line from Bedroom. They have one all the way over on the south side. And that will also cut out the rotates in between the sites for now.
Just checking for an ADS there by tossing the Selma through. No ADS on that doorway means he can use his smokes. Sage starting to shape up. Juicy's been a big player so far. Sage looking to push on in. Got 2 players to find. Somehow he gets it.
Wow.
And Juicy jumps in there as well. It's all on Jack. So much time for the Knights to get this right. But Jack Daddy, all he's got is the secondary shotgun. And this is such a terrible position to be in. The pre-fire locks it down for the Knights. 2 back-to-back fantastic attacks. And they take that half 3-3.
For a moment there, Order had the 2-round lead. Knights forever closing gaps. They will not allow them a second's rest. Time to swap sides. The tale of 2 halves is always the most important analogy, metaphor, whatever, that we can use in these kind of matches. It's a battle of the Titans, but the question is, have Order let this slip? Have Knights brought themselves back from what should have been a demanding lead?
There's no doubt about it. Knights have the momentum in their favor. Those last 2 attack rounds from them were very convincing. Even if there were moments when Order had really fought back, you know, Order actually found the opening pick in both of those rounds. But the Knights had excellent recomposure. You know, they turned a 4v4 into a 4v1, and then they turned a 3v3 into a 3v0. That is really excellent end round in the attack from Knights. But if there's anything that stops momentum, it is changing that half.
Certainly is. It gives Knights the ability to dictate the tempo more so now, as they can decide, are we playing aggressive, are we slowing down? But one thing you know from Order, if they read that Knights are weak on a certain part of the map or potentially a certain side, they have absolutely no stress in just going directly to them and forcing these ones, forcing these fights. And right now it is going to be slow and methodical wins the race, or so it would seem.
Early gas from Juicy though, and Sage starts to retreat. Looks like this is an old school top main stairs hold, an Order intend to clear it. With the Jaeger mine nerfs and the various utility available on the attacking side. This should be pretty doable. You'll see that position where Juicy is playing at top of main stairs, or Toms for short. One of my favorite callouts. Good position to hold, but Sage is the first victim. That's actually the Wamaya. A lot of Util gone, and Order stop at nothing to take control of the top of main stairs. A 5v3 advantage for them.
Oh, doubling down and making Knights pay. My goodness, it's near flawless, but Josh, he squashes any attempt. But that is utterly devastating.
No two ways about it. Order manhandled Knights in that round. The most convincing one we've seen so far, a 5 versus 1. Near flawless from the Order boys, and switching on to their attack has only excited them further and only put them in a stronger position. They've well and truly quelled any ideas of Knights having that momentum. Now as we switch onto the attack, Order certainly bringing the fire, no doubt about it. Knights so terrified of that they're going to switch bomb sites, go over to Trophy and Stat, hopefully dig their heels in over there, because Aviator and Games was just a mess.
Certainly was. And it's not what we expect from Knights, but it is what we expect from Order. That's the thing.
Bombs as they can.
You do quite literally have Order versus Chaos. But funnily enough,
It's the other
Order
way
is
around.
Chaos. It's just, it's the perfect way to sum up who they are. And in all honesty, this right now is a huge tipping point. If Order can successfully take this side as well, well, Knight's back will be up against the wall there.
10 seconds remaining.
And it's not a position you want to be in, as Order will continue. You can run, you can hide, but you ain't getting away from Josh.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
I've even forgotten what I was going to say. Pretty much,
That's
Knights are in a bit of trouble here.
Sure, this is definitely where that tide needs to turn for them. Order, they're really gunning for this victory. It's been a tough OCN so far. 2 back-to-back overtime losses against 2 teams that they really should be hoping to win, Bliss and Rhythm. So it's not a great position to be in for Order in the grander scheme of this season, but they need an ace up their sleeve, and I think they may well have one this round. They're trying something a little bit different. Jack Daddy on the nick. Always a bit of a pocket pick. Our Danish Princess is certainly a terrifying force to behold if used well. Already activating that ability there, the cloaking device, the hell. She can sneak past any cameras, including those black eyes from Josh. And Jack Daddy's playing so patiently as well. He's got so much info, droning up now Moto. Perhaps he'll be looking to sneak up the Astro stairs, but Sage finds that lead-off kill, and it's Cutie as well. That's a big hit player. Sage a double, completely thwarting this south side pressure from Order.
Well, maybe Sage is the cure to Order's disease, because he really has been quite incredible for Knights since picking him up last season.
Damn.
Wow. What a statement from Knights to be making right after they really had their own site handed to them. They've come back here, and it's a shame, because if there's any team that could make Nook work, I would say it's Order.
Yeah. And I just don't see the Nook having much of an impact from this point onwards, right? She's like the operator that you want, pushing the opposite side of the map to everyone else, being that backstab. But there's not much point having a backstab when you don't have anything else. There's a backstab, but surely a refrag comes through. Sage at 3K on the round. And for all intents and purposes, it was flawless for the Knights, and they have bitten back, and they've bitten down hard.
I love the use of the Goyo shields there. I mean, it turns out it didn't really play any kind of effect, but just being able to fall back from Astro in the late parts of the round and essentially turning the floor to lava, That's so nice. That would have completely stunted Jack Daddy if Order had been looking to go for a multiple angled push. So just the small things that Knights are bring into every round that just make you question, you know, what would Order have done, even if they had made it to the site. But one thing is for damn sure, Sage, he is super sharp and looking to rip heads off of Order. 4-4. The game has definitely been closely contested.
The concerning thing here is that Knights going back to Aviator Games. You remember that was an insane push from Order with, what, half the round still remaining. They were in a 5v1. Really brought the fire, really took control of top main stairs without too much trouble as well. Cootie found that opening, and then it was just a file up from Order, completely disregarding the smoke, and there were mine magnets as well, defending that power position. They said, this ain't a power position. This is just a victim of our onslaught. Order likely to try and prod that south side again, go for a study and top main push because it worked so well on the first time, but you see Knights will be very much ready for it. A Banshee to support as well. This is a very cheeky angle from Dino. Just looking for drones at the moment, and I like this idea.
Could be dangerous as well. Not so much for now, and here it comes. A decision from Order early on. Looks like to put bodies across on the north side of the map, and this may be a taste of his own medicine. In fact, it's actually Nate that's sitting there, but that C4, it's prepped and waiting. It's ripped.
Oh, he heard it.
Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate for Haywood there, and looks to double into it, but that's going to be the free kill for Ippy Style. And the Valk off the board, but now there's so much intel gathering that she can do.
It's true, but those black eyes are vulnerable to get spotted by Jack Daddy's IQ. He switched onto from a 6-pick after teasing that nick, but goes to show little things can make the difference there, right? Like Haywood, he had pre-ripped the C4 so it didn't make a noise, and then he put it away. And then him ripping it again was the audio cue for Nate to fall off that position. Arguably, if Haywood hadn't put that C4 away, if he'd kept it out pre-ripped, then Nate wouldn't have heard it in time, and he would have fell victim there, and we'd be looking at a man advantage Knights.
Especially in a game like this, against a team like Order, you cannot be giving away freebies. And Josh at the moment, all the way on the north side of the map, where that rotate will come in. If that's going to be a flank later on, just keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on the kill board.
Two players up red.
That could be huge, but oh wow, Sage, where? Hello, nice, love it. Was that from 90?
Been from 90.
Whew. Sharp.
Cootie does find that refrag though, and Ippy Style is so close to pushing into maps, destroys the shield with which Dino intended to hold that site. Order are circling, just look at them, but we still have that X Factor Josh on the flank. Ippy Style completely read it though. Surely Josh can't find the kill here. Ippy, it's actually Joker to hold on, and now in a 2 versus 4. Then a 2v3, 1v3. Juicy's got to go large here, but it's a tall order.
It is. Oh, no, wait. No.
No way.
That's surely not going to happen. It
Oh
looks
my
like
God.
Order's rotating across to the other site.
They don't know.
But this could be, I mean, it depends. It depends.
Oh, they don't know.
But that's a free kill for Cootie.
God.
What? How? Juicy now. 1v1. 10 seconds left. Now knows where Jack Daddy is. Baiting out the shots, but well played from Jack Daddy to save the round from the clutch that is Juicy.
Great knife bait there. Really well played from Jack in the 1v1. He knew that he was going up against the SMG-11. All he has to do is bait a couple of shots. Then that mag size is really going to punish the SMG-11 player. So well played there from Jack. But also, man, that was damn close. That was almost a clutch there for Juicy. And imagine you're at Order and you watch back that VOD and you see a player holding an angle through a barricade and just the silhouette pass just underneath that line of sight, and potentially that could have been the reason for that clutch. I kind of wish it had happened,
Yeah.
but That would have been Order kicking themselves to no end.
It would have been it, and it kind of would have topped off what would have been a sick clutch. I mean,
Yeah.
the first kill, sure, but that second one to add salt to the wounds, unbelievable.
Yeah,
I
it was
just-
such an early shot.
It was so nice. It was so crisp. And now, as we look back on it, of course, it's all been squashed at the hands of Jack Daddy. But, that was a close one. And I think that it's kind of reiterating how dangerous both of these teams are in their own moments. And all it takes is a pixel. If you, I don't, like, it had to have been a pixel in it. we're going to have a look at it now. So this was the big flank from Josh, right? And it was obviously read quite well. But that right there, just like you expect Cutie to absolutely dome him. Now, one thing I want to say about that flank from Josh is there was actually a cam, I believe, on the red hallway in between Stat and Trophy that was able to spot him because they knew full well where he was that entire time as he looked to make that flank a little bit more of a reality. So that could have dismissed what Order were looking for. A little bit too sharp from them, though.
Yeah, very, very good stuff there from Order. I think finding that early man advantage was super pivotal. And then, as you said, covering that flank of Red Stairs was definitely massive. Josh could have had a big impact there, and he was completely shut down. There was no reason why Knight should have won that round until Juicy had that potential, that tiny inkling of a clutch. And it wasn't to be. Well played by Jack to lock it out. Now we're at 5-4 for Order, and they are 1 round away from securing at least 1 point. But 1 point is not what they want. 1 point is what they've got the last 2 weeks in a row. They've pushed overtime, or they've, in fact, I think both of those play days, they got to 6 points first, and then they got reverse swept the rest of the way. It's not going to happen again, surely not. Like, if you are Order, you want to break that curse, because if that starts to be a pattern, I think it tells you a lot about this team. In fact, the most recent 3 officials Order have played, Bliss, Rhythm, and then Giants and APAC South, were all 6-8 losses.
That sucks.
Pretty damning.
Yeah, that is some serious lemon for the gents there. And my big question is, can they turn it into lemonade? Can they add that sugar, give it a little bit of sweetness, and turn something bitter into something sweet? Because they have so much potential as a roster, and it's very clear it's why Order, you know, one of the biggest orgs in ANZ, have picked them up, and it's why they believe in them, and why we continue to believe in them season after season. There is something there, a little polish on top. I think maybe one little change, and things could completely change for this roster. But it always has been the bridesmaid tale. It's always been close, but not close enough. And in this instance, they have an excellent opportunity at continuing to put the boot down on Knights that, I mean, we'll be completely honest here, just haven't lived up to the expectations we'd hoped for in OCN.
If anything, I would say that is the story for both of these teams. Knights definitely took a while to warm up in OCN, but their win over their win just the other night was very, very impressive. Their win over LFO, 7-2. And we started to see flashes of the Knights that we were expecting to come into this season. We thought they would be the kings of O's, taking that mantle from Wildcard. And Order looks to be still that second place team. Doesn't matter who's in first, Order are always second. And, well, they need to start racking up these points. And while Order are consistently getting themselves into these strong positions, finding those match points, putting the boot over the throat of their opponents, they just can't push down and lock it out. That is the curse with which Order have found themselves this season. Only 1 round ahead, and as much as I want to believe that this dream is possible for Order,
Bomb located by attackers.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's the big thing. It's what's going to separate them from taking the mantle, taking the throne that all-elusive first place in the domestic season. And all in all, it's been a very interesting start to stage 1. And of course, it's the long haul. It's 3 stages altogether here. Istyle being live drone in. There is one member, I believe it's Josh, just on the other side, waiting to be given an opportunity here. But the patience is working.
Josh is waiting, biding his time. Would he have a safe retreat? That's the question. I believe there's Mute Jammers stalling the path for Order. When will Josh feel that pressure? And when it comes, will he commit? What a line! Jack shut down out of the server. And Josh holding on, hungry for more.
I love this. Does not falter, does not move. Now looking to be... Is very much isolated there, but they cannot capitalize on it, their Order. And that will come back to haunt them. Although there is no Valk that could cause serious damage for Knights, there are still those Magnets, the Banshees, all of that Jack Daddy won't be able to foresee as they get a little bit closer to the site. So the IQ going down could haunt. Look at this from Josh. Unrelenting. That drone surely spotting him though.
It's again droned out. Player beneath him. 3 players above him. How long can he hold on? Oh no. Okay, they see his foot, but you're not allowed to shoot the foot even if you see him, but it does give Ippy the info for the pre-fire. And Josh, when he watches the replay, he's going to be frothing at that one, but there's the refrag. The perfect shot from Dino, and that keeps Knights' head above water. 30 seconds left, and Order put under the pump.
Dino now just waiting for the audio cue. There's the Banshee just in between Skull and the single door. And that... Oh, that's huge! That's massive! Now, Joker just has to try and play for a line of sight as Nate starts to push in. The C4 came out, the Banshee's taken away. The smokes are still there. No, sorry! There it is! It was sitting in wait, just sitting back. Joker has to force his way into the smoke, and defenders... Knights win the round, and well, that is a masterclass.
Excellent performance from the Knights there to hold on. Josh did more than his team could have asked for, even though he just found that one pick. He wasted so much time, as did presumably Hayward's Mute Jammers. Now, I didn't see the placements, but there is no doubt about it. That's part of the reason why Order got so stalled. Now, Ippy might have had a great pre-fire here, but Dino stepped up massively on the bomb site. And the fact that Order did not destroy this shield was their doom. Player by player, everyone fell victim to Dino holding that position. One with the C4, one with the pistol, and one with that SMG. Knights have taken it back. We're at 5 apiece. Only one of these teams has a chance to take the 3 points tonight, or will we see overtime?
And you know, this is the big conversation of this season, is these, like, it's the overtime games, right? Time and time again now, we look back at the 2 play days that we've had so far. Playday 1, there were no overtimes, that's fine. But Playday 2, there were 3. Playday 3, there were 2. And slowly but surely, all these points that teams are missing out on because they're not able to close it out in regulation, it will come back to haunt them. And teams that are able to hold on for the point, the 2 points, it'll make a massive difference at the end of the year with the standings. And again, can't bat on enough how much the gauntlet format for the playoffs is going to play a monstrous impact that we have not really seen so far in the in OCN.
That's it. These could well be the top 2 teams in OCN we are seeing play each other right now. And seeding going into playoffs means everything, as you said. For Order on the back foot. Going back to Stat Trophy for Knights, they won it last time, and that's the only time they've played it this half. Difference is, this time Order bring what? Dino?
What?
Unaddressed!
No.
unattempted. And that is Knights starting things off massively in a 5v3, completely untampered with
Oh
Dino.
my God.
Gets a third frag. And it is all the Knights all day long looking to steal match points out from under Order's clutches.
Unaddressed, untampered, and well and truly has undressed Order here. That is a huge mistake that I don't know whether Order will be able to correct. As of right now, they will be staring down the site at match point Knights.
A 4K on the round for Dino, and Order completely out of order. The Knights running circles around their opponents, and they steal match point away. This is turning out to be quite the hot-headed match. Both of these teams, the fierce rivalry that they have developed. Always the bridesmaids, both of them throughout 2020. Order would take it, and then Knights would take it, and then Order would take it again. Never could we say that one of these teams had the leg up over the other. The November Major, it was Order. But before that, it was Knights in the OCN playoffs. And then before that, in the OCN season, it was Order. Before that, in the August Major, it was Knights. It is neck and neck with these teams. Who knows which one will come out ahead? Knights are the favorites for this season. Order had a spat of bad form. They've been 2 weeks in a row the victim of losing in overtime. Well, now they want to take it, push Knights all the way to OT, and then close out the map. But it's such a tall task.
It is. It really is. And there's a feeling to it. There's a feeling to, if Order can push this to overtime, it may well be there for the taking. Now, history's not really serving too true for them in the fact that both Rhythm and Bliss, when taken to overtime, closed it out with 2 quick round wins. They never let Order even get a hint into the OT. So everything is against them here. The round count is against them. Time is against them. And history is too. Knights.
If there's anything as a redeeming factor for Order here, it's that Knights have been pushed all the way to their tertiary bomb site, Rob.
Yeah.
Not once have we seen Kitchen Dining taken by the Knights. They kept insisting on re-attempting Aviator even after they'd lost it twice before going to this bomb site. This is desperation for Knights. This is them going to the last bomb site they are comfortable taking, and even then it's iffy. This is Order's best chance to get a round back and send us to OT.
I mean, Dino, just on the back of that big round, is now picking up the Vigil. And you know damn well that is going to make Order uncomfortable. If they didn't drone him correctly in that previous round, what's going to happen when he is on the Vigil, when he can hide from those drones? Granted, they will give the intel, of course, of the static, but never mind that. He can go undetected here.
Well, a tactical timeout for Order precedes this potentially final round of Order versus Knights in the OCN season. What must they have been talking about? They realized that that previous round, as you said, was just because Dino left undroned and undealt with, punished them, and completely dismantled Order's defense, or rather attack. Now for Order, they know that they've got to be going up against Kitchen Dining, either that or Living Library.
10 seconds to go.
Aviator and Stat both successfully defended by the Knights. They're forced onto their tertiary site. Order have all the info they need about what bomb site they're heading to, and they had a full minute to chat about it during that tactical pause.
I'd love to go back and see how many times Order have ever actually called a tactical timeout, because I do not feel like we see it very often from that roster. They are very happy to play, you know, by the seat of their pants. And with the sharpest shooters in the West. They entrust a lot of that damage to be done. So there's something about this round that excites me, but they need to make sure that they do not allow the same mistakes to creep back in. But this time, Knights are all across on that northern side. There's no one roaming past south.
Slow and steady for Order. Good vertical by Itby Style. A lot of information. This leads down into Living. A very common place to roam. And I like the way that Order is dealing with this rather than going head on. Playing the tactical game. Jack Daddy as well downstairs. Just cutting off the rotations of these roamers. Order are hoping to make Knights run around. Over-rotate. Trying to counter Knights' loose playstyle, but for now, the patience exhibited by the defenders is preventing them from falling into these traps.
This is a lot of time burned off the clock here, Dev. You're at a minute 10. No contact, no bedroom control. As I say that, that's what they were after. They collapsed twice, and all of a sudden, Knights, they're down 2 players, and they're gonna need to claw this back, but do they have enough time?
I've seen bigger comebacks from the Knights, and Josh just around the corner. Jack Daddy's been lurking on the basement this whole round. And those 2 big hitters, Dino and Hayward, are out of the server. Will it be match point for Knights, or will Order get themselves at least 1 point on the standings and send us to OT with it? 30 seconds left, and the Knights are once again exhibiting this patience. Juicy spotted out his feet from that long angle. Josh as well, just around the corner. Juicy finally finished off, and Itby Styles going massive in the 1v5. It's on Josh.
Has to be patient. Has to wait for Order to make a mistake here, and it's not going to happen. In fact, the flawless round to close out the second half and to push us to OT. Twice we have seen Order in overtime in OCN, and twice have they faltered. Still yet to even pick up a single round in overtime.
This is the question, Manic. Is Order going to break that curse? This has been everything for them. The last 3 matches that they have played, they have gone to overtime and lost 6-8. Will they break the curse? Knights have already let 1 round, 1 point on the standings slip to Order here by sending it to OT.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
And with their OCN campaign being fairly lackluster and disappointing so far, losing to both Elevate and Rufflecopter, Knights need every point they can get, because at the moment, Rob, it's looking like Elevate will finish this season in first place. And if Knights don't secure the 2 points here against Order, I'm starting to think Wildcard or Rufflecopter might be in line for second. Maybe even Bliss. Imagine if Knights and Order was struggling to get top 4.
10 seconds left.
The seeding going into that gauntlet format playoffs is everything. And at the moment, these teams are already so close that there's no decisive victor.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
And the thing is, the more that Order and Knights draw these games, the further it allows Elevate to push forth and take those leads seriously. They've got LFO up after this game, and well, on paper, that should be 3 points in the bag. So it will just continue to lengthen that gap between them and anyone else that seems fit to challenge. And all eyes on Order. Like you said, Dev, their track record in the last 3 games, it's not promising whatsoever.
Order have the attack. It's been a 3-3 split on both halves for these teams so far. But a lot of these rounds that Knights have won on the defense have been thanks to massive plays. Dino going in for multi-kills. Same for Sage. Now Dino again, just around the corner from Jack.
Oh,
May well
God.
have heard him creeping. He doesn't swing. Jack Daddy's found his way up red stairs. Dino still in a position for a flank.
Drop the diffuser.
Once again, we ask you to keep your eyes on the scoreboard because that will tell everything for Dino. If they continue to push up red here, they most likely will have to expect that there could be a player that may drop down and go for the flank. So they need to be ready for that. If they're not, big question marks here for Order. A minute 20 left. They've made pretty decent timing as now taking landing control. But still so much yet to be done in a 5 versus 5, Dev. A minute left on the clock, and this is definitely starting to favor the Knights quite heavily.
It's going to come down to this opening. B Styles had a great game, and he does find it. 1 minute left on the clock, and finally, the scoreboard starts to light up. Order is so close. In fact, this may well be the execute. Nate starting to get that plant down. Jack Daddy, a mere distraction falls. Traded now by Impy Style, watching the flank. It's Hayward, and now looking for another, but Order get the job done and hold out this executes, taking match points.
For the first time in 4 matches, they have found themselves an overtime round and now look to close it out. This would be a massive win for this team. With everything Knights have been saying recently, this would really set the tone. And now, right after Order called their tactical timeout, Knights have gone and done the same. They need some time to think about this. They need some time to think about their approach. And just to remind you, Order and Knights are both currently sitting 3rd and 5th respectively. But it is Order that are out in front by 1 point. So if they're able to win this here, they will go 2 points clear of Knights and equal points with Wildcard for 2nd place.
And being the halfway mark in the season today, we've got 7 play days. Today's play day 4. We're really getting to the point where the scoreboard, the ladder is starting to shape up. Jack Daddy, a 6 pick onto the mute from the Wamai. So leaning off of the top main stairs, holding more into this information denial, trying to prevent that roam clear, that map clear from stat across. For Knights here, they've secured the 1 point, but they need the 2 points. As you said, they're already behind Order. This has been a shocking stage 1 in OCN for the Knights, the favored team in the whole league. And there is even a world where Knights don't make playoffs here. If they keep this going, the only real shining light we've seen was their game against LFO, which is, let's be honest, looking like the weakest team in OCN right now.
Yep.
Knights need to show that they can take points off of the big teams and even the mid-tier teams, because at the moment they're yet to prove that. And this game against Order, this rivalry continued, is massive, instrumental for their success.
And that's the thing. Knights' next couple of matches, we've got Wildcard coming up after them. Then they go up against Rhythm and Bliss. So you would just have to assume that it's so gnarly. Impy Style, what on earth was that? I did not think that there was a world in which he was going to hit something like that. Hence why I'm waffling on. He has shut me up quick, smart, and in a hurry. And that's Sage down as well, who has been phenomenal for Knights.
The information trickling to Knights like a leaky faucet. Impy Style hungry for another one. He's had a fantastic game so far. That spawn peak was everything Order needed. But Itby knows patience is a virtue here. He doesn't need to overpeak. He doesn't need to give Nice the opportunity for a refrag. And as he jumps downstairs, he is caught out by Josh, holding downstairs, watching for that rotation.
Teammate that was shoulder to shoulder with Itby Style has rotated through the basement, so Josh won't be able to find that. Not just yet anyway. That may come back to be the thorn in the side of Knights. And here we go. They will start to progress further now, take more control, as it is going to have to come down to one of those later round pushes. With still two, we're coming up to that 2-minute mark. Oh, has he been spotted there?
I have a feeling Josh was aware of that. No, well, perhaps preempting the red stairs push. This is an amazing read from Josh. Is Cutie gonna win the fight though? He falls back after a quick spray. Josh can get the Prince.
Oh, huge.
They'll keep an eye on Cutie for the meanwhile. They know that they have that man advantage on site with Cutie off site and being tracked. They could hunt him, or I think more likely they could focus their attention to site, but Nate's found Juicy. That's the study player. That's the linchpin here. That's Knights' hammer to push the anvil, and now they're all coming from one direction, and Cutie's looking to support as well. It could be this match point for Order.
The problem is they don't have a read on Cutie anymore. He's still coming from behind. The smoke has not hit the target.
Oh, no!
There it goes. It extends onto Dino. They try to confirm the kill, but they get caught. It's all up to Haywood, and he can't get it done. Order, they topple Knights in OT and take away the 2 points.
After 3 games of lost overtime, Order get their revenge against their longtime rivals, Knights. The bridesmaids have finally caught the bouquet, and Order take the victory 8-6.
A close affair. Only seems fitting that it takes us to OT to decide a victor. And the victor is Order. That's what we needed to see. Some dominant form from a dominant roster. And now we get to look toward Knights and say, is this what OCN looks like for you? Well, there's no title to be claimed for the Oceanics best team if they can't perform in the domestic league.
So we put a lot of pressure onto the Knights coming into this season, but you certainly can't call yourself the best in OC unless you're winning OCN. And on the flip side of things, Order, it's been such a spat of poor form for them. And now, even despite Specker being subbed out, they've got Nate in today. Itby Style went nuclear. Cutie had a good day, but still not quite the highlight we saw on Playday 1. That was an amazing moment. Itby Style padding the stats right at the start. This feels like the Itby Style show, honestly. This set of replays just showing amazing performances. Oh, Order stepped up hugely. Itby Style, definitely the premier player.
Certainly so. And mind you, one thing I don't think we really talked about a lot toward the second half of this match was definitely the missing Specker that, you know, Nate has stepped in and supported the roster that is Order. It's the second time he's done so in as little as a week. But that is a big win for them, considering Specker isn't on the board as well. So, you know, there's a couple of things here that we need to look at. And, well, it does really conclude that Order have deserved this win, and it's been a long time coming. 3 games in a row, in fact.
Certainly has been quite some time. And just having a look at the stats there, fantastic KOSD scores on a lot of these players. And there you go, Haywood right at the bottom of the scoreboard in terms of kills, but up there with the highest cost in the game. Credit to him. Of course, you don't just want to keep your eyes fixed on that KD column. KOSD is incredibly important. You look at a player like Itby Style, 17 and 11. He's certainly paid his respects to Knights in the frag department. A lot of those kills supported by his teammates, for example, Jack Daddy on the Echo. But definitely a game where you look at Order and you say, well, they certainly kept it clean. But across both teams, a lot of frags. I wouldn't say that one team was particularly one-sided or the other. Despite that, we did have a couple of flawless rounds either way.
No, we did. And there was some... That's the thing, right? There were a couple of closely contested rounds, but there were also some absolute blowouts. And I think that that's what... In Siege, that's what you do see a lot of with these, you know, with top-of-the-table clashes, with clashes of the Titans in certain regions. You do see a variety of rounds that lead from blowouts to just intense, close 1v1 clutches. So it's a good way to tie it all together and to showcase what both of these teams had. Now, we're actually going to hear from Nate from Order. So let's get him in here. Let's have a bit of a yarn with him and hear how he felt coming on the back of that matchup. I mean, we've been calling it the Clash of the Titans. Both of you guys have been fighting for that top Oceanic spot. Do you feel as though this has done you justice to claim the title?
Yeah. I would honestly say that we are the #1 team at the moment. Like, even with me subbing in, it's obviously not the strongest roster, but as it showed today, it's obviously not the weakest. Like, Jaden went off today. Like, it's definitely one of his better performances, that's for sure.
Certainly. I actually saw Specker in the chat earlier tonight saying if I see Ippy Style overpeaking one more time. But
yeah, that was,
credit to him.
It was definitely in the comms. It was like, Jaden, yeah, we know you're nearly on 20, but back it up a little, back it up. He definitely
like
listened because we're winning rounds.
Good. Yeah, you certainly did a fantastic job for you guys to push it to overtime after staring down match point. And then you actually converted overtime for the first time in your last 4 games. What's changed? It's been a lot of pressure. You lost to some not necessarily household names, Rhythm and Bliss, and Giants, of course, as well. So what's different today?
It was really just like, honestly, in those Rhythm and Bliss games, we were losing to ourselves. Like, obviously, they played very well, but majority of the time it came down to either bad decisions or literally just us losing to us. And it turned around today with a lot of... We were very confident going into this game. There was no, oh yeah, we think we're going to lose this. It was, yeah, we're going in, we're winning, and we're not losing another OT, so... yeah.
I'm curious to hear as well, because obviously Knights have had some pretty good form in APAC South. What is it, like, why is it that you felt like coming into this game it was going to be your victory? Because by all means, on paper, it should have been a Knights game.
Yeah, on paper it should have been a lot of things, but when you know you're the better team, it doesn't matter what it says and what the statistics are.
Yeah, no, I like that. You know what, we'll wrap it up there, Nate. Do you have anything to say before we close it up?
Yeah, just good luck to them on Thursday when Ryan's there. I think Specker will be looking to definitely outfrag Style, and with 2 of them on form, it's going to be very dangerous.
Oh, that is going to be a wild Thursday night. But Nate, thank you very much for 1, stepping in and subbing, and well, good game. But also 2, we'll see you soon, mate. Well done.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
So there we go. It is Order who are now claiming the throne.
I feel like if OCN had a best hairstyle competition, Nate would either be in first place or in last place. I can't tell you which, but it would definitely be one of those.
Well, right now I don't know whether they're in first or last place. Nate seems to think first place, and by their performance, it does look like first place. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a break, and we are going to come back with 2 more absolute belters. Don't go anywhere.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser. Attackers need to protect them. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. 10 seconds to go.